Here on Treaty 7 territory, nestled in the Rocky Mountains with the mighty Bow River at an altitude of 1,309 meters. Born from coal dust in 1884 and ever-changing, this is Canmore, and we are Canmorites, and this is the Canmorite Podcast. Let's go. It's me, Jeff Maw from the Canmorite Podcast. It's been a little bit of a gap for the summer, and I'm back here talking, and I'm talking to my good friend Wade Graham. Wade, I feel here as we're moving into the tail end of August, there's one thing that's been showing up a lot on my conversational radar, and it's the upcoming election. How are you finding this whole thing as we hit the wind down of summer and we're moving into silly season?
Silly season.
Silly season's coming.
Yeah, the seasons of politics, right? And I've found, there's that first year that you're elected, there's the middle 2 years, and there's the last year. You see changes in how people take approaches to things. And it's kind of interesting.
And so I think a little while ago you mentioned that you're going to run again.
Yep.
And so what kind of drove that decision? Like, what was the hardest part of deciding to run again? Or maybe it was not a hard decision to make a run.
No, I think it should be a hard decision, right? This is not an easy job. Mm-hmm. It consumes a lot of your life. And I've told everybody that I love it more than I thought I was going to love it, and I hate it more than I thought I was going to hate it. Right?
Yes.
It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's the most rewarding job I've ever had. But It's also the most difficult job I've ever had. And I don't think that this position should ever be taken lightly. So yeah, it's not an easy decision. Not one I took lightly, and I don't think anybody should.
Right, gotcha. So kind of like newsflash, I just put my nomination forms in. I'm going to run
Congrats.
again. And thanks, man. And I know you and I talked about it a whole bunch. We talk about this with like all the other people that are on council and then other people that aren't on council. And for me, it's not been an easy decision either. I think one of the things for me, I remember talking to a fellow counselor in Banff. Obviously they're working under a different framework. Kaylee Ram, she was similar to me. She's got like kids, got a business. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, Kaylee, are you thinking of running again? And she's like, oh, it's kind of hard, but honestly, and she summed it up great. There's so many challenging lessons to learn on that first term, mm-hmm. And to actually have a term under your belt, mm-hmm. you can then be effective for another one. And mm-hmm. so, I think I think this whole council came through a really gnarly, challenging term, but also I think a lot of lessons were learned, a lot of skills were kind of honed, and they're the only kind of skills you can learn by doing the job as a counselor. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about the idea, if I was lucky enough to get voted back on, to kind of apply those skills and just be hopefully that much more effective.
I think, I say that this job will make you grow in ways you never ever thought you could or would.
Yeah.
And I think we've all, you're right, this council has had a heavy lift of a term.
Yeah.
We've taken on a lot of like gnarly things, but I think you're also like laying the groundwork, right? Like we got a lot of things through the first stage, mm-hmm. and now I want to see them to fruition. Palliser is a big one.
Yep.
The livability tax is another.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I just feel like with the things we've gotten started, and it's weird, like sometimes in the middle of those terms, you're like, man, nothing is changing. Like, God, things are moving at this crazy slow pace. Because you and I, we run businesses and we can be really nimble. And sometimes you take that time frame of running a business compared to council, you're like, what is going on? But here we are 4 years later, and I look back in the rearview mirror, and like there's been a lot of stuff that's actually happened. And so it's a bit to see more things go on. I think Palliser, like yourself, big thing. Like I'm definitely campaigning on creating more housing. But yeah, stuff like that. It's been zany.
I think you're right. It feels like things don't move fast enough sometimes, and there's a lot of things that I if another tourist home gets built, I'm gonna cry, right? But you do things and you do move the needle on them, but it's so painful to watch sometimes. And other times, you know, we have been fairly nimble in reacting to things that we need to. But that's just the way government works, and that's part of learning in your first term as well. So
100%. And so one of the interesting things of the process, of those people that haven't run or are thinking about running, you actually have to go through this bit of a process where you have to get your nomination form and you got to get signatures. Remember how many signatures you had to get?
25.
And how many did you get?
I don't know. 35, 40 maybe.
Yeah, you get a couple extras.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in a room, you want some people to sign, and it's kind of an interesting thing because can the public see your nomination forms if they want?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they can see who signs.
They have to go into the office and physically see them, and they can't take copies of them. You know, there's confidential information on there.
Yeah, for sure. But I think one of the interesting things I think for the nomination process is you get people that are close to you that sign, but there's also people that are in the community that you'd like it if they signed your nomination form. And I know you have a pretty good who's who on your form.
Yeah.
Who are some of the, who are some of the names that you're kind of happy decided to sign your nomination form?
Yeah, when I got my nomination form signed the first time, it was kind of just about getting 25 on.
Yeah, just got to get the 25.
Just got to get 25.
Yeah.
And this time I was pretty purposeful about it. And the reason I did that is because, like I said earlier, you and I have grown a lot. There were some relationships that you and I, maybe I'll speak personally.
Yeah, speak to yourself. Yeah.
I'll speak personally. There were some relationships that I needed to mend, to fix, to build bridges with. And I think I came into that first term as somebody that had rubbed some people the wrong way.
There's an understatement.
Yeah, and there was a fair bit of trepidation when I was elected, and maybe you felt similar. And in order to be an effective councillor, you have to have 4 votes all the time, right?
Yep. Make a decision. Got to have at least 4. Yep.
And you have to have the trust of a lot of people, including community members, including administration, and especially your fellow councillors. So, there were some people that signed my nomination papers this time around that wouldn't have last time. And I was really proud of that. So, I'm not going to sit here and name drop, but I wanted a breadth of people. I wanted the environmental community. I wanted the arts community. I wanted the development community. I wanted just members at large. I wanted bureaucrats. I wanted former politicians at multiple levels. And when I asked for those endorsements, for those signatures, all of them said proudly yes, that they would put their name on my thing. And I don't know, what was your experience when you got through that process?
Yeah, I wanted a pretty broad swath of the community too. And when I'm getting my nomination forms, I'm trying to find people that I feel that have a little bit of influence in the community by the actions that they've done.
Sure.
Like earned reputation. So it's just kind of neat to get folks like that signing. Like on the staff side of things, I think people that are working within the town, that work within the framework of council, if they're supportive of us running again, I'm pretty proud of some of the signatures I got there. I think when it comes to signatures, I think one of the ones that a lot of people that are trying to run, they really like to get is the blessing of one of the prior mayors. Sure. And so I remember sitting down with Mr. Borrowman, and John and I had a lovely conversation, and he was really complimentary and was happy to sign the form. And I remember just picking John's brain. He's like, oh yeah, everybody wants me to sign their form, right? And he may not agree with everyone, but if he feels that they're a good candidate, he'll sign their form. And there's times where he'll politely find a way to say no. And that obviously that's anyone's prerogative, right? If someone asks you to sign their form, you don't have to sign their form. But I think John was really gracious, and I really appreciated that time. And there's been times where I haven't seen eye to eye with Mayor Borrowman's decisions in the past, but I do respect all the stuff he's done, and for him to take the time and lend an ear was really appreciative. That's super cool.
Certainly.
Yeah. Hey, do you know what the deadline is for that?
September 15th?
for 15th or 23rd, just something like that. Yeah, I have to double check. But I remember talking like, you got to get that form in. What was that story we heard from the clerk? How there's that one candidate a couple of terms ago. I think they were an incumbent, or they're thinking of coming back in.
And they're getting signatures the day of the cutoff in the Civic Center, just getting anybody to walk in by.
Just running around, please sign my name. And at the end of the day, he didn't have enough names, and he didn't get in, which is kind of bonkers.
You also need $100.
That's true. Yeah.
And if you, I think, get over half of the votes, you get your $100 back.
Yep.
But if you get less than half, you forfeit that.
Yeah, some sort of system, just to like deter people that like aren't serious, kind of thing. Because you and I definitely take it seriously. Other people that I've heard about who are running, and I think some of these are already kind of public. I think we have. I think Councillor Flaubert, she's running again. I know that Karen Mara, who I really enjoy working with, she's going to be running again. Councillor Hillstead, not exactly sure. Yeah, like the mayor, like definitely Mayor Krausert, he's coming in again. And right now, I don't think there's anyone else in the mayor's race yet at this point. We've got a couple of weeks for someone to come out of the woodwork if they do. What about some other candidates that you've heard, or people thinking of running for, say, like another councillor position?
Yeah, I see Rob Seeley has put his name in. He was a 2-term councillor before.
Yep.
Ed Russell's got his letter of intent in.
He's being a little cagey because he's not sure. Like, he hasn't really said he's going to run for mayor or councillor or not.
See what happens,
We'll see.
Backroom politics kind of thing.
Yep.
Javon is running. He's running on kind of an immigration platform.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
I totally like Javon.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Good human. Rob Murray. I signed Rob Murray's form the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Has he submitted it yet?
I know Rob was working on getting his form in. I feel Rob, he's got like a lot of great reach in the community.
Yeah,
I work with him on CCH. He, as a volunteer chair of the CCH board, I feel Rob has like risen to some pretty challenging fit situations.
Yeah.
And I think I like Rob. I think he's like a really like good person. So yeah, Rob.
That CCH has not had an easy go this past while. We've really pushed the envelope there, and that's been a heavy lift over there for sure. So
absolutely. And then not only have we got that, I think one of the first people to put in, I think her name is Jen Moran.
Yeah, Jen Moran.
Okay.
Put her name in.
And who's she again?
Jen, I don't know her very well. I've heard good things about her. She worked on the council remuneration committee.
Yep.
I believe she is Ed Moran's partner.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know Jen super well, but I've heard good things.
I've heard good things about her too. I heard she's a smart person. And, thank you, Jen, for the work you did on the remuneration committee. And I guess we'll stay tuned because I think there's more people. There's also a lot of people that are tough guys talking big before saying they're going to run, and I'm hearing some crickets from those dudes. So we'll see. A lot of keyboard warriors that like to talk a big talk, but come to challenge a decision. But maybe they'll step it up.
There's a gentleman, Jonathan Hazard, whom I don't know. I know he put his nomination papers in the other day.
Okay, all right, interesting. So that's kind of that piece there. When do you think campaign stuff really kicks into full swing?
Yeah, I think if you're a serious candidate, you should probably be in here by the end of August and start putting some boots to the ground.
Yep.
One of the things this council did was remove the ability to plaster signs all across town, on public property.
Right.
And limited them to private property only. And I know that there's some people that disagree with that one, that think, that limits democracy. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think it actually increases the access to democracy by, campaign signs are one of your biggest expenses. I know they were mine. The environmental footprint, and then just the visual clutter of signs everywhere, I fully disagree with. And a sign on private property means something.
100%.
Right? That means that person is endorsing you, essentially. So to me, that's more meaningful
Yep.
And easier for people to get to. But that's also going to take some legwork, right? Like,
Yep,
you
for
can't
sure.
just drive your car around and plunk
Stick 'em on the
plunk
intersection.
1,000 signs around the intersection.
That shotgun technique.
So you kind of got to put some legwork and some effort in there.
Yeah.
So I think September we'll see people really starting to pound the pavement.
Yeah, I think in the Bow Valley, typically people aren't looking for mega long campaigns.
No.
There's fatigue with that.
Yep.
I do think, by the time we get across Labor Day weekend, it'll be a bit of a push. And then into through the October, there's a whole bunch of forums. Stay tuned. We'll let you know about those as they come up as well. And
Campaigning sucks, right? Like
it's the worst.
It's not a fun process.
No.
It's the worst job interview you'll ever do.
For sure.
I expect this campaign season to be, I think entertaining is one word for it. Potentially nasty.
Yep, for sure.
There's the potential for that. I hope that people are respectful. I hope that people are attack the ideas and the issues and stay away from the personal stuff.
Yep, awesome. And
We'll see if that happens or not.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. I would like to keep it on the high end for sure, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay,
Happy to debate all those things.
Happy to debate all those things, and we can always be reached. So, I guess in closing, I just wanted to say I'm really glad you're running.
Likewise.
And fingers crossed it all goes.
Thanks, Jeff, for all you've done this past 4 years. I remember when we first got here and what it was like, and we were eyes, naively sitting at that table with some of the things that we needed to deal with, and you've got ideas about how you want to do them, and then there's the reality of how you have to deal with them. And I think this council and you and I have done some pretty remarkable things over the past while. We've tackled issues that other councils have punted down the road or not wanted to deal with, and we've moved the needle on some things that I'm really proud of. So congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, you too, man. And I just wanted to say, we haven't seen eye to eye on every single issue, and there's times we vote differently on stuff.
What?
Yeah, for sure. For example, phone radar, but whatever. I just wanted to say, I feel when I talk to people in the community, definitely they had some suppositions about who you were, and I think you've worked really hard to changing some of those things. I also think there's parts of you as a counselor that I really admire, the fact that you're on social media. I'm a lot more conflict adverse, I think, than you are, and you are a bit more of a combative person, but you also are able to get in there, and I think a lot of people respect that. I definitely admire it. I think your ability to stay on social media is your superpower. I kind of work a little bit better on different forums, but I think it's just another voice in the way you communicate and the way you bring ideas forward, and then also defend the ideas of council. I think that's really important, and I appreciate that of you.
One of the things that I think we learned pretty early is that we all do this job differently.
Yep.
Right? There are counselors at the table that are not on social media or very, very limited presence. We have some that are kind of more in the middle, and we have some that, like myself, that are very active there.
Yeah.
And they all have their pros and cons. But you have to let people do the job the way they want to do the job.
100%. Okay, well, with that, man, let's get on with our respective days, and thanks so much.
See you at the forums.
I'll see you at the forum. Take care.